Hello, my name is Julia. I am reporting on wildfires affecting air quality in Russia. This is for Global Health Issues of the Summer 2025 Part 1 program at Texas A&M, and I chose this topic because I have a passion for doing volunteer fire work stuff, and I'm also happen to be from the country of Russia, so I thought it was a great topic for me to investigate. There's a lot of different things to think about when you're thinking about Russia as well as wildfires, because as we know, wildfires are uncontrollable. They are unpredictable. So wildfires in Russia, though, have been increasingly a pressing concern, infecting our environment and our air quality in vast regions. Focusing particular on other pollutants, we can see a correlation between wildfire incidences directly affecting the air quality. Specifically during the fire season of 2020 and 2021, then we had satellite data that tracked wildfire occurrences and their influence on how it affects the air quality. And results were marked increasingly with levels, above 2.5 and approximately large-scale wildfires affecting urban areas and degrading our air quality. And of course, as climate change exacerbates these wildfires, they happen more often and they can become more intense. So this is definitely something that we need to be aware of and conscious of, and try to educate people of the dangers of natural, global, environmental effects in our community that can affect our health. So I created this poster. Basically, Russia is one of the largest countries in the world. It has the largest forest area in the world, but it also loses the most amount of that forestry to wildfires yearly, compared to anywhere else. In 2024, wildfires burned up to 21.7 million acres of Russian, specifically Siberia, forestry areas, which is mind-blowing if you think about it. Fires release large amounts of carbon dioxide and other gases into the atmosphere, which is affecting climate change and is always, like we said, affecting our air quality and what we inhale and breathe in. But air pollution can be caused by a lot of different things, not just wildfires, but 7 million premature deaths worldwide happen each year due to air quality. So it's a huge, important aspect of our environment that we need to be aware of. The preventions that I think are best to focus on to limit these disasters is climate actions. Having large amounts of greenhouse gases contributing to the global warming, and it's further warming the Arctic, which is affecting our is affecting our climate. So planting trees can help absorb some of that carbon, which can mitigate the air quality from being as deadly as 7 million premature deaths. They also destroy forests and natural habitats, which also affects the ecosystem. When we have communities and multiple people displaced to fires, that causes a whole nother chain reaction of different effects just from this wildfire. It's like a catalyst. So the second one I say is life on land. Because of those natural habitats that are affected, it affects life, and farming and rural areas are drastically affected more than even urban areas. So having proper forest management and being proactive is super important. And of course, just good health and good well-being. We want to have healthy air to inhale and exhale throughout our respiratory system, and if we don't, we come to have problems which lead to health issues. And also, being in these type of environments can affect our psychological thought process and our mental health. So these are things that we need to be aware of and figure out ways to prevent putting ourselves in, being susceptible to these type of situations. There's a lot of different ways. There's a Russian Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment. It's a government body that plays a crucial role in managing natural resources, including forests, and policies to mitigate that wildfire affecting our air quality. There's some other interventions or programs that are out there that you can be involved in and you can educate yourself with and learn how to protect ourselves. Forest management programs, but it takes a collaboration of multiple people. This isn't a one-man job, and it's not going to be solved overnight either. We face challenges throughout having to conquer this global issue, and increasing fires in intensity means that we have fires more often, and our first responders and our firefighters have to be fully educated and up to date, and also be able to handle multiple fires back to back. Of course, funding and personnel for managing those fires is super important. Having the proper equipment so that these fires don't get even further out of control and cause more damage. So basically, in conclusion, the proposed plan is to create a positive change by addressing the target areas and the key issues in those target areas. This could mean improving and including community resources, of course, enhancing the overall quality of life. Forestry would be included. They're a huge part in understanding the landscape of what is being affected. And we lead to empower individuals and organizations to collaborate and work together. Like I said, this isn't a one-man team. It's going to take multiple communities, multiple departments, and specialties to be able to conquer this. So I invite you to join us in our mission, driving change. If we collaborate, we can lead to a greater and brighter future. So if you have like to be a part of something like that, or this intrigued you, then you should definitely check it out. Of course, wildfires in Russia are not a seasonal occurrence. Fires can happen anytime, and sometimes they're naturally started and sometimes they are unnaturally started, and you never know when it's going to happen, and you can't control fire, so you have no idea where it's going to go. So it's very interesting. So we need to protect Siberia, we need to protect Russia, we need to protect our climate and our environments and, our communities. So I guess I leave you with thinking about is how can we have policymakers and communities better prepare? How can we be ready before it even happens? And can we respond to the health implications of deteriorating air quality? This leads to the more people that get sick. It also impacts our healthcare staff and our hospitals and our clinics. And are we funded and prepared in those departments as a secondary to, the consequences of wildfires and poor air quality? So, like I said, what are proactive steps that can be taken to reduce the risk of these wildfires? So I appreciate you listening to my presentation, and if you have any further questions or suggestions, you can always email us, and I hope that you enjoyed it. So thank you so much.